Hey there, Agile Adventurer. Just a quick question. What if, for the price of a fancy coffee or half a pizza, you could unlock over 700 hours of the best Agile content on the planet? That's audio, video, e-courses, books, presentations, all that you can think of. But you can also join live calls with world-class practitioners and hang out in a flame war-free and AI slop-clean Slack with the sharpest minds in the game. Oh, and yes, you get direct access to me, Vasco, your Scrum Master Toolbox podcast. No, this is not a drill. It's the Scrum Master Toolbox membership. And it's your unfair advantage in the Agile world. So if you want to know more, go check out scrummastertoolbox.org/membership. That's scrummastertoolbox.org/membership. And check out all the goodies we have for you. Do it now. But if you're not doing it now, let's listen to the podcast. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Success Thursday this week, dedicated to the product owner. So we'll talk about product owner success with Njegos Ilic. Hey, Njegos, welcome back.
Hey, Vasco. Thanks for having me again.
Absolutely, absolutely. Before we dive into the success question, Njegos, share with us, from your product owner perspective, what's your favorite Agile retrospective format and why?
To be honest, I really don't have any special format, like from, there is a lot of templates that I've seen Scrum Masters are using. I really like from the every retrospective to be a little bit, you have a part where it's a little bit, a little bit casual, so people can, relax. They can learn about each other, just know that not everything is, business as usual. That's, I think, really important part of the retro. But other than that, just environment where we can actually just review the current sprint, trying to see how much we accomplished, trying to see, what went really simple, right? I know this is really, cliche, but what went, good, what went wrong, what we can do to improve. It doesn't have to be in that order or with that questions, but somehow we need to cover those topics, and whatever, the team feels, or the Scrum Master in this case feels that works the best for the team. I'm totally open, and I don't have any preference, to be honest.
Absolutely. And of course, that beginning of the retro, starting with a relaxing exercise so that not everything feels like business as usual, also opens us to think differently about what we could have learned from the last sprint. And I really like that approach because it also acknowledges, it recognizes that, hey, we're humans here. Right? If we're always like machines going forward, we're not going to be very creative or even very patient with each other, which turns out is not a very good learning environment either.
Exactly. And getting back to the topic of the favorite format, I will just share you interesting also like feedback from a couple of, teams that I was working with. So for example, I don't know, this icebreakers, different formats. I will tell you for the fact, a couple of teams that I worked with, the feedback from developers was, hey, this is childish, can we just get to the point? This is a waste of time. And, it's just the way it is for a certain type of people. But for the other people, I can tell you, and for the other teams, it was really relaxing, and you could feel that it was basically something that they needed. So that's why there is no right and wrong in here. It's just trying to sense the pulse of the team. And I think that's really important caveat for every successful Scrum Master or a leader in the team.
Sense the pulse of the team, the vibe.
Exactly.
All right. And now we go to the big question of the week, of course, the success question. So, Njegos, you've been a product owner for a while, with successes and failures. We talked about one on Monday as well, like everybody. That's how it goes anyway. You have reflected, and we would like to know, what does success mean for you as a product owner?
So, for me, personally, I think in order for me to be successful as a product owner, There are a lot of things, of course, but how I see it, and I'm getting back again to some of the things that we already kind of touched in the previous conversations, but basically setting up, the first thing is to setting up the expectation right, trying to see, hey, what is the type of the company I'm working with, is it a project-oriented mindset, product-oriented mindset, and then depending on the answer on that question, I'm trying to basically adapt. But at the end of the day, for me as a product owner, I think the most important thing is to have a means to measure the features that I'm or the product bets, so to say, that I'm releasing. Because if I cannot do that, it's really hard to learn. It's really hard to make important decisions. And I will not lie to you, like I worked in those environments, and partially even today I'm working like that, because with some companies it's really hard to set up, these measurement points with the product. It has to do a little bit with the industry. It has to do a little bit with the processes, with the history. Everyone has its, sad story, so to say. But that's really important part of the job, like being able to measure what you build. If you cannot do that, I think you can do whatever you like, but it will be really, you will just be depending on the different opinions, who is, screaming the loudest, and trying basically just to use your gut feeling, which is not a good thing in working long term. The other thing that is, if we put this aside, and I think really important thing to being a successful product owner is knowing the industry. Knowing the industry, trying to learn about the product and everything, and especially if you're working in fast-paced environment when things where things constantly change, it can be challenging. I will not lie to you. So what I'm trying to do, I'm trying basically to find a ways, how to document things, how to create different ways to, map out, to use these mind mapping tools, whatever, just in order, so it will help me, to remember the things that are somewhere in my head. I think that's another thing. And maybe at the end of the day, I think one really important thing is to have this, sense to be humble, because you need to be, able to put, some horizontal culture with the team, with the stakeholders, when you can be challenged, and where you can make mistakes, and where you don't feel pressured, or, I don't know how to put it into the words, but basically, you have to be able actually to make mistakes and to be humble to admit those mistakes. Otherwise, it's really hard to work in those environments, because every mistake is somehow, you feel threatened. You're trying to work around something. So if you, I don't know, in simple words, if you can cover those three things, in my opinion, I think it can help you a lot to success as a product.
So there's one of the topics you mentioned, which I think is very important, the idea of measuring the success of your product bets. And you mentioned something that I want to dig into a little bit more. You said that in some environments, if you will, it's difficult to set up the metrics or whatever, analytics, whatever that may be, to measure product bets. So for you as a product owner, when you are in those environments, what other tools do you use to try to approximate that measurement of product bets?
I think in those kind of situations, I think user interviews are really powerful. Like that's maybe the most obvious thing to do, actually, to try to use these user interviews and try to collect as much as feedback as you can. But at the end of the day, this is still limited. That's just my opinion, because this is still like opinions that you're getting from the different people. But the real deal, is insights. And once you have some kind of measurements, I don't know, with heat, with mixed panel, any of these tools that you can actually, have with your product, then actually you can actually check those opinions. You can actually fact check any requests that you are getting from different, I don't know, support tickets from different stakeholders, and that's really helping. But if I have to pick one, I think user interviews are really good because it will give you a lot of feedback.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll put the link in the show notes to one of the most common, let's call it user interview Bibles. It's a very short book. It's called the Mum Test that everybody should read, because user interviews are not as easy as they sound. So it's good to read a little bit before you go and start running the first user interview.
And I think it's really powerful actually to invite at least I mentioned, leads from the development, or of course, product designer should be always by default there, but also the full team. That's really powerful, I think, because it helps the team to connect to real world problems actually. And then once we discuss anything on the refinement or any other meeting, it's much easier for them to connect, which is really, I think, something that a lot of teams are missing.
Absolutely. Great point, right? Like involve the whole team. Michael Dougherty and Pete Oliver Kruger, in their book Shifting from Product to People, they talk about what they call usability theater, which is basically exposing the whole team to usability tests or user interviews, and getting the whole team to listen to the user so that they kind of absorb the user's perspective, which will then, we hope, positively affect how they develop the product every day. Awesome. Thank you for sharing that with us, Njegos.
It's a little bit general maybe because I'm thinking on the fly, but I hope it's good enough content for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. I hope you liked this episode. But before you hit next episode, here's the deal. This podcast is powered by people like you, the members who wanted more than just inspiration. They wanted real tools and real connection to people who are practicing Agile every day. We're talking access to over 700 hours of Agile Gold, CTO level strategy talks, summit keynotes, live workshops, e-courses, deep dive interviews, books, and if you're into No Estimates, we got the pioneers of No Estimates in those deep dive interviews as well. Agile business intelligence, creating product visions, coaching your product owner courses, you name it. You'll get invites to monthly live Q&As with Agile pioneers and practitioners, plus a private Slack community, which is free of all of that AI slop you see everywhere, and of course, without the flame wars. It's a community of practitioners that want to learn and thrive together. It's the best place to connect with community and learn together. So if this podcast has helped you before, imagine what you will get from this podcast membership. So head on over to scrummastertoolbox.org/membership and join the community that's shaping the future of Agile. And we have so much for you. So check out all the details at scrummastertoolbox.org/membership, because listening is great, it's important, but doing it together, that's next level. I'll see you in the community Slack.
We really hope you liked our show. And if you did, why not rate this podcast on Stitcher or iTunes? Share this podcast and let other Scrum Masters know about this valuable resource for their work. Remember that sharing is caring.